Well, respected professionals, esteemed session leader and keynote speaker, Dr. Sirin Melikova, presenter Ms. Samra Chima, Ms. Alina Snovaskia, Ms. Sarah Kariman, and Ms. Ugantuya Galvadrak, and valued attendees. Greetings to you all. Today is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. On behalf of ICOM Azerbaijan and ICOM Family Forum, it's an honor to welcome you all to the International Virtual Conference on Museums, IVCOM. My name is Meena Lama. I'm a member of ICOM Nepal and moderator for this session. Due to busy schedule, Dr. Sirin will not be joining us today. However, we have Ms. Rima Janilova, who will be presenting Dr. Sirin's presentation on her behalf. Before we begin, except for the presenters and our session leader, I would like to request all the attendees to mute their microphone for all the time. Well, today's session is also being recorded and the link will be made accessible in our messenger group. If you have any questions for the presenters, please use the chat feature to submit your queries. Also, due to time limitation, we won't be taking question in person. However, if we complete the session before our scheduled time, then we would allow a few of the attendees to ask their own question. Also, each presenters will have a total of 25 minutes for the presentation. With this brief request, let me commence today's session. Well, even though Dr. Sirin Melikova is not joining us today, on behalf of ICOM Family Forum, I must express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Sirin for her continuous support. Also, I would like to congratulate her on behalf of ICOM Family Forum for being recently awarded with the Order of Chevalier. It's the award from the Republic of France for service provided in the field of culture and art. Well, Dr. Sirin Melikova is the president of ICOM Azerbaijan and director of the National Carpet Museum of Azerbaijan. Now, let me invite Ms. Rima. She is the secretary at ICOM Azerbaijan National Committee and International Committee for, she's the secretary at ICOM Azerbaijan National Committee. And well,
also
right.
ICME.
Museum of Ethnography, right?
Yes.
Right, Museum of Ethnography. So today, Ms. Rima will be presenting on behalf of Dr. Sirin on on-scene art, publishing and boundaries of potential. Okay.
Thank you, Meena. And I also would like, I'm greeting all of you from Baku, Azerbaijan. And Dr. Sirin isn't unable to take part in this conference meeting, but she sent her warm regards to all of you. So let's start my presentation. I hope you can see. Can you see?
Yes,
perfect. Perfect. A museum collection within the contemporary art and fashion. So first of all, I would like to give some information about the Carpet Museum. The Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum, the first museum in the world of its kind, was established in 1967. So in 2014, a new museum building, a large-scale project implemented by the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan, the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, and UNESCO was erected on the territory of the Seaside Boulevard, Baku. This building, designed by the Austrian architect Franz Jans, and today a tourist attraction, meets all modern requirements. So he collected the most rich and diverse collection of Azerbaijani carpets and carpet items. It presents the 4 types of carpet weaving in Azerbaijan: Gubashirvan, Ganja, Kazakh, Karabakh, and Tabriz. So the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum font numbers more than 10,000 exhibits and includes 7 collections: pile carpets, flat woven carpets, carpet products, artistic metal work, ceramics, glass, wood, textile clothing and embroidery, and jewelry. So Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum I would like to show some pictures from our collection. So, Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum collaborates with prominent contemporary artists who are deeply interested in the history of Azerbaijani carpet weaving, adopt the techniques and methods of this unfading art, are inspired by him to create completely new works inspired in style. So I would like to show one of this project. In 2017, as part of the 5th International Symposium on Azerbaijani Carpet, the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum timed the exhibition project Modern Art in Carpets, created by Shirin Melikova, during which the audience was presented with the work of famous artists. All of them over the past decade have successfully represented modern Azerbaijan art abroad. In particular, took part in the famous Venice Biennale. You can see some pictures from this. So, Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum cooperation with Chingiz Babayev. He's one of the famous artists of Azerbaijan. Begin with the creation of the resistant carpet in the Department of Traditional Technologies of Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum. In the future, it continued with the exhibition project, The Art of Carpet Weaving, the Evaluation of Meanings. The museum organized meetings with the artists for the public lectures, master classes. So you can see the first joint project of Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum and Chingiz is the creation of the author's carpet resistance in 2017. The carpet was included in the permanent exposition of the museum. So you can see here the carpet resistance. So in 2021, the Historic Architectural and Art Museum Reserve, the Kazan Kremlin, hosted the opening ceremony of the exhibition Carpet Art, Evolution of Meanings, a large-scale exposition devoted to the Azerbaijani carpet weaving art. Its traditions and contemporary designs was on display for the first time in Kazan. The viewers have a unique opportunity to observe the carpets from a historical perspective, plunge into the world of ornaments and sacred meanings. Exhibition created by Dr. Shirin Melikova, the director of the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum. So here are some pictures from that exhibition. The exhibition displays traditional Azerbaijani carpets and outer works by Chingiz Babayev, popularly known as Chingiz. The contemporary artist, the bearer of traditions and cultural norms of his nation, shows the viewers sketches and carpet design in his own language and ornaments and new carpet dramaturgy. He interprets them and creates a contemporary art, avoiding the distortion of Azerbaijani carpet weaving art traditions. This is the way the traditional masterpieces oppose the author's new carpets, start a dialogue overcoming distance and time. Here you can also see some picture from that exhibition. Yes, carpets which was made by that artist, Chingiz Babayev, and from Azerbaijan, on base of Azerbaijan carpet, from the collection of Azerbaijan Carpet Museum. Some examples you can see. Installation Blank History. The installation Blank History presented at the exhibition can be considered as a key to the artist's creativity. A carpet without an ornament, monochromatic in a shade of natural wool, is the starting point, tabula rasa, and appeal to eternity. Many symbols of different epochs fall of it over the past centuries. So here you can see exhibition, some pictures from that exhibition. Another part of the exhibition presents a documentary film where Chingiz shares the secrets of the creative process and speaks about the philosophy of the traditional carpet and its contemporary perception. So I would like to talk about next project of Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum. It's Azerbaijan National Carpet Museums present its collection in the context of contemporary art and fashion industry within the collaboration with Rufat Ismailov, fashion designer and founder of Afrea. The haute couture collection by fashion designer Rufat Ismailov presented during the Paris Fashion Week in 2021. The collection Sumak consists of 21 dresses created based on the rich motifs of Azerbaijan carpets, such as Çelebi, Açma Yumma, Khanlı, Goja, Nelbeki Gül, and others. The project was organized by support of the Hyderali Foundation and State Committee on Work with Diaspora within the support of the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum. Supported Rufat Ismailov within the research of the carpet collection. So the new Sumak collection. So the new Sumak collection was named in honor of one of flat woven carpets of Azerbaijan. Rufat Ismailov, well-known fashion designer inspired by the ornaments of his native carpets. Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum provides him with material regard pile and flat woven Azerbaijani carpets from its collection. Here you can see some pictures which we provided for this project and dresses as well. He designed these dresses on base of these carpet ornaments. Sumak, one of the most popular flat woven carpets of Azerbaijan. You can see. So next one is Salyan carpet, one of the pile carpets of Azerbaijan. You see this jacket was made on base ornaments was made on this carpet. So the carpet sketch also was made on this base. So carpet şebeke, also we have outer carpets which we by our famous artist, carpet artist Eldar Mikhalzadeh. You can see this carpet and design dressing clothes which made by Ismail as well. So next one is this carpet, Nakhchivan carpet. One of the interesting point in this carpet that this carpet was made weaved from undyed wool. You can see. And the same ornament was used in the clothings. So next one is the Mugan carpet. So next, Chini Cheshnik carpet from the collection of Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum as well. So you can see here Shabalat Kutab. You know, we have we have 7 schools, carpet schools, and each school has its own ornaments, motifs. And here you can see carpets from Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. So next one is also, sorry. Çelebi carpet is one of the famous Karabakh carpets of Azerbaijan. So Açma Yumma as well. All this clothing was made on base of Azerbaijan carpets from Karabakh region. You can see. Also we have one clothing made on carpet, pazarık carpet from the Hermitage Museum's collections. So Goja carpet as well from Karabakh region. So another one, Khanlık carpet, also from the region of Azerbaijan, Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. So I think that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation and showing us the carpet museum. Well, if any of our attendees have questions, then please add them in our chat box so that I can read them during our question and answer at the end. Thank you so much. Could you please unshare the screen?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Now, let us welcome our presenter, Ms. Samra Chima. She is an artist from Lahore. She is presenting on the modern contemporary art. Samra? Ms. Samra?
Hi, Mina, you can hear me?
All right, so let me share the screen for you. Okay, Samra.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Modern contemporary I'm talking today at my topic modern contemporary artist because I am also a modern contemporary artist, so I want to tell my journey about my related to my work and my research. Recently I am working as an art as a lecturer at GCWUS University, Calcutta, and working as an international festival committee chairperson of Pakistan in Palestine, and I also working as a curator, international curator, and I'm also leading young artist speaker. So I won many awards internationally and nationally. I got Art Painting Award and second position. And after that, I completed my art festival in 2019. I received the Young Artist Award from our Alhamdulillah Art Council, Lahore in 2016. And let me share my journey in art field. Can you change the slide when I started my work?
Is this the right one?
No. When I started first research work.
Please tell me which slide number.
When I started my work, I tried to make realistic painting. Yes, these are my realistic paintings. And I selected my topic as a trans-gender people, trans community. After having their personal but I found that they are painful in our society, and so that I chose to work with them. Then I decided to take advantage of symbol art. When you can see my realistic work, when I paint them as a live model, I thought they are feeling somehow like we are something different from the other person, like male and female. So I don't wanna hurt them. So I decided to change my work with the symbolism. So Mina, can you change the slide? When I use, you can see these are realistic works. I change their identity and their presence in this world. So There when I was searching the symbols related to the transgender, I found a correlation with them. There I found a corals, and because I did scuba diving, when I see the corals similar properties with the trans community, the colorful underwater creatures that like plants, but they are the animals. It was the element of real depiction that I convinced me to use corals to symbolize the transgender people in the art. But that I insist to be done to enhance the concept and level of transgender in the society. During my exploration of the corals, I also visit underwater museum sculpted by Jason Taylor. This museum is the largest underwater museum from the world by National Geographic Channel, and I contact with Jason Taylor, and I studied his sculptures with the trans community. This is largest painting, and I painted it in underwater sea with the related of community. These are my real figures I used to draw as a model, and this community basically shown all our society. I use to draw with my technique. It's all impasto technique, and I used to draw this I use my fingers, and I put all the corals on the human figures because I want to show its deceptiveness, the deceptiveness of our humanity and culture, to perceive this society. Next slide, please. What are corals? Basically, we thought, as I told before, this heart is an animal, or it's a marine. It's not a like herbal and plant in the sea. So these are basic structure of corals. Corals are basically living creature in the sea, and these are colorful. As I found a correlation with the transgender because they want to be colorful, and I put this a series of my work with a correlation of corals, and its title perception of the third color, because I found them as a color. We are a creature, and the transgenders are our third color. So I painted this series with the title of third color. Symbolic relationship most with build corals contain. Lina, can you change the slide?
Yes, it is changed.
Most build corals contain. This is the second coral painting of trans community. It was a series of communities. The third community. Most buildings are coral contain photosynthesis. Both are similar because I saw the correlation. The coral and alga have the symbolic relationship between the transgender. In return, the air produces oxygen and to help the coral to remove waste. And more important, in the sea, they are providing the oxygen. The other community, sea community, and as a correlation with the transgender, they are most have correlation with them. Correlation between art, science, and culture, because I also it was my research on science, nature, and art. So being an artist, I used to draw with the nature, because nature also part of our like art. art form. So science and art, science and art, they are very close. And being an artist, we are used are mostly used as a symbolical form and human attempts to understand the desires of the world around us. So these subjects and methods have different traditions and ancient audience of different inmates. Their basic motivation and goal fundamentally are the same. Next slide, please. Mina, can you hear me?
Yes. You want another slide?
Yes. These are correlation because the modern contemporary art in the modern contemporary art is used to discuss many issues. So it was my first research at transgender and the correlation with the choral. And the next, I moved into science and nature, the correlation between art, science, and nature. And next slide, please. This is my first painting correlation between science, art, and nature, coral and human beings. Basically, I shown the time period when our world starts and human being was start to living in our earth. And in this painting, you can see a time zone. Our like I use a symbolical form of clock, and it's a time period to serve the humanity and go from the world. And I depict as a symbolically correlation between human being and coral. Next slide, please. Uh, this is also the journey of life as my award winner painting, and it's also the same technique and impulsive technique I use to draw with my finger, and this also shown the journey of life on the earth. Next slide, please. Self-imagination medium also iron canvas, and it's also my new work with the correlation between science and nature. Next. It's from my soulmate series because being in self, I used to paint myself and self depiction. It's a title of my painting, and being a modern artist, I used to draw myself in my with my imagination and my mood swings with my this technique in impasto, and these are all same medium oil on canvas. Next, please. These are basically on the child labor, and these are taking my life, my knowledge. We have uh, we have many phases in our life, and these depict my childhood for many children who still don't have access to education. It's notable because um, I used to manifest the child burden being uh, in developing countries, asking child don't have access to basic education, and because of antiquities that original in health and cultural identity. So I used to depict in this painting our education. My after the correlation of oral and science, I used to highlight the difficulties of child in the same technique, in partial technique, and with the use of coral on its figure. Title Soulmate, medium oil and canvas. Next slide, please.
Do you want me to change another slide?
No. Yes. Title My Spirit Medium Oil and Canvas. These are difference between two cultures have been used to methodological and theological adventures in the same large scale. I also use this on this topic on feminism and protest drawn from the study and process and results. I illustrate this painting on the feminism topic and here and women empowerment on our society and her rights. It was on the topic our 8th March, and I use the feminism topic and I paint a female identity, female freedom in our society, and depict the feminism about the women freedom. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Nina, can you hear me?
Yes, it's in the soulmate. Would you like me to change it?
It's also, yes. It was also large size painting, and it's also on a feminism on human. Yes, this one. These are also my the second series I have painting the soulmate series. It's a journey of between two souls connection like Adam and Eve. We also know the word of when it started Adam and Eve, and I use the symbolically forms of Adam and Eve and all the generation of past and present shown in this painting. As you can see, the symbol on the earth when they came on the earth, and it's all warm colors and the highlight of cool colors. So I mostly use all the colors from the sea, and I use paint in my same technique, in pastel technique. And in this painting, I have shown Adam and Eve when the expedition on the earth and their journey to find themselves and the boat when they met around that mountain behind of them. I have shown in this painting and it's large size painting 5 by 7 feet around the world. It was also my large painting, and it's very recently I done 2021. It's my new work and from my new series. And after that, you can see, yes. It's some highlight of my recent workshops I conduct for the community who can't afford their fees and they don't get any admission in a proper art schools and proper an art channel. I conduct for the children who who can't afford and their parents can't send them in schools and in art activities, and they want to learn art and other skills. I attended these workshops for those people, and in Islamic styles, basic technique of art like modeling, some Islamic species and basic drawing. It was also for that women who can't learn these techniques from any proper channel and any proper tool, and they all are housewives, and I just give them for the sake of to learn, and these women can serve their labor by home, and these women can work for their children, and so I done this workshop for free of cost, and these are all done by myself, and just I want to serve that people who are needy, and for they want love. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Samra, for the presentation. Let me share your video too.
Yes, this video also on our culture, dyeing culture. Basically, we found I used the real algae on our pots. Our culture, we found these pots. Basically, these pots belong to my grandmother, and no, we didn't found these type of poetry in our home, and we also it's on these if you see in our Punjab culture, we found this our I use this algae on star or moon because representing it, and it's a symbolically used that we are forget our culture, and it has basically a very original sound, but Mina's computer didn't cooperate with this video, and if you see its process, and I found that this because Mina, it go
Yes.
It go with sound, it will more appealing, and it will
Yes,
convey.
sorry. I cannot help you with the sound here. Samra?
Yes.
Sorry, others cannot hear the sound because I cannot help with the technical sector in the sound area.
Okay.
All right. So for all the attendees, the sound is that of the rainfall.
Basically, it was my video installation, first video installation on culture dyeing, and these are process to removing, and it's also installation with the sound. So
Well, later after the presentation session, I can help you share the video itself so that all the attendees they can listen to the sound as well as the visual too. Well, thank you very much, Samra, for the presentation. And well, to all the attendees, I'm really sorry that we cannot help you, with the sound. So next time, I mean, like we can upload the video and all the attendees can go through the presentation. Oh, well, our next presenter is Miss Alina Snovaskia from Russia. She is the curator for Project ICOM Russia, and she's presenting on art and collaborations regarding the Russian cases. All right.
Dear colleagues, hello to everyone again. Could you see my presentation? It's okay, it works, yes?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for having me today. It's a great pleasure to join this event. I would like to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Alina Sosnovskaya, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about my interest. I'm an art critic, art manager, museum lover, and ICOM Russia project curator. I'm interested in modern and contemporary art, street art, museum sustainable development, and museum inclusion, PR and museum management, museum branding, and museum self-presentation to the target and just audience, communication and entertainment in museum. Today, I would love to tell you about art and collaborations in Russia. First of all, let's get acquainted with the definition of collaboration. Here are three variants from different dictionaries, and they have particularly the same or rather close meaning. It's usually a piece of work or the situation when two or more people working together and creating something to achieve their goals. Today, we will discuss three types of collaborations. It's collaboration with living artists, when the artist, her or himself, gallery or museum collaborates with some brand. Formerly living artist, when usually the museum collaborates with the brand. Sometimes it's, of course, the relatives of the formerly living artist, but we will discuss museum. And museum itself, like a place where some brand can just go and do some really interesting event. Well, the first one is living artist. And first of all, I would like to tell you a little bit about the artist and then about the collaboration. Here's the art piece by Alexander Kosolapov. He is one of the key figures of social art. He's a painter, graphic artist, sculptor, and his works are based on the ironical, radical combination of recognizable symbols and stereotypes of Soviet ideology and global mass culture. He cooperated with the Beluga Group. It's the largest alcohol company in Russia, whose like landmark or logo connected with this practically the same fish like beluga on their logo. And you can see that Alexander Kosolapov rethought the work Blue Caviar and made a collaboration with Beluga. He presented his new artwork on the biggest art fair in Russia, which is called Cosmosco. And he like broadcasted the new variant of his artwork, but with the promoting the brand of the alcohol company. Well-known Recycle Group, which was formed in the early 20s, well known by the artists Andrei Blokhin and Georgy Kuznetsov. The year 2008 marked their first personal exhibition under the title Recycle. Now they are very popular among the globe, and they had a regular basis museum and galleries, contemporary art exhibitions in France, Italy, Great Britain, USA, and Belgium. And also they are well known by the participation in Venice Biennale for several years. And of course, maybe you heard about their collaboration with Dear Lady Art, a project which a French fashion house launched in 2016 to give artists courage to blend the reimagined Lady Dior. For Recycle Group, participation in this Dior Lady Art project has become a continuation of more than a decade of friendship with the brand. In 2010, they transformed the Lady Dior bag into sculptures in various objects of art and exhibited in the Moscow Museum, the Pushkin Art Museum. And well, it was like the biggest collaboration for Russian artists, I think. Also, I would like to tell you about Andrei Berger, who examines his ideas through various artistic sources, from performances, sculptures, art, graffiti, installation to painting and graphics. He's a street wave artist. He combines classical street art techniques with abstract paintings, and he had a collaboration with the Swatch group, the Switch Watch brand. They presented first Russian collaboration with street art artists in 2020. And the main thing was that everyone who wanted to create their own swatch could just move the watch behind the signature patterns and choose their own variant of the watch. Maybe well known for you all, Tahir Salahov. It's Soviet, Azerbaijan and Russian painter, theater artist, teacher, professor, vice president of Russian Academy of Arts. He's the figure, a key figure in the surf style, and remains a modern master, sensitive to demands of the time. His powerful paintings are really impressive, and he had a collaboration with the Fine Art Way. Painting by Tahir Salahov to Your Humanity graced Fine Art Way vehicles as a part of the collaboration of the project, which was called Follow Art. And also one more collaboration of this project was held with Valery Shtak. It is a person who imaged personal freedom, passing them through the prism of conceptualism, and just works like a street art artists who are interested in creating system of science and interaction of modernity and art. And he also have the collaboration with Fine Art Way, but it's the same years, the same collaboration, but very different point of view and meaningful collaboration for the viewer and for the artist himself. You can see the difference, I think. Also, I would like to tell you about Ivan Simonov, his Small People project. He is also a person who usually works in street art way. He analyzes the information field in which he exists and problems that people face. With the help of text and his own documentary photos, he reveals them of human interaction and entertainment and put it in the street. So he collaborated with S7 Airlines, it's a Russian and Siberian airline operator. And they had a project to create a special livery for S7 Airlines in collaboration with the Street Art Museum. The creation of special liveries continued the series, these Small People, the creation of like pictures on the board of the plane. It was really impressive, so to say. Also, Pavel Pepperstein, who had the collaboration with the Garage Museum of Contemporary Art. Maybe he's also known to you because he's like an art critic, theoretical designer, even rapper, artist, and writer. He usually works with mysterious hybrid worlds that combine motions of Russian and classical mythology and so on. And the collaboration of Pavel Pepperstein and his Garage, it's like a good example of goods for a museum shop. It included puzzles, posters, for real fans of contemporary art, also like cute phone cases inspired by the artist's work, statement t-shirts, and so on. Like the bright example of collaboration is Moscow Museum of Modern Art and Azbuk, of course. It's like a supermarket where you can buy practically everything. And this supermarket, Azbuk, of course, have launched a joint project that combines food and art. And they collaborated with 5 young artists who worked in practically different genres, combinations, mediums, and so on. And they created a few design stores and also changed their brand meaning. Like it was like the theme for rebranding for the supermarket. And Azbuk of Kusa of taste embodies the brand's value, not only food, but also discoveries, gastronomic and cultural. I think it's like a good example. The other stage is, I don't know, but my screen is not moving. I'll try to fix it. Yeah, great. Formerly living artist. I would like to tell you about the museum, like a brand collaboration with the museum. Here you can see the tea set legacy of Tretyakov Gallery, which was created by the French brand Vermandor in the initiative of Mercury Company. This collection was limited. It had only 100 copies, and it included works by promoted Russian artists, which are in the collection of Tretyakov Gallery. They were rather expensive and really fragile and beautiful. Also, Tretyakov Gallery collaborated with Tvoyo. It's like Tvoyo, it's a brand of shoes, clothes, accessories, which could be translated into English like your. And they designed a collection of clothes, which was called Tvoyo Искусство, and in English it's like your art. They put it into words like your art unites art, creativity and fashion, modernity and classics. And it was rather, it was not expensive, that every student could afford a t-shirt from this collection. Also, the Pushkin State Museum of Fine Arts collaborated with Citymobile. Citymobile is a taxi aggregator which provided 20 cars with the images of famous artists. It was the project dedicated to the exhibition Shukin Biography of the Collection, which was opened in the Pushkin Museum. And Shukin is the collector who had in his collection many European artists from late 90s and early 20th century. So the canvases of recognizable masters came to life right on the roads of the Moscow, and everyone could just afford to ride, for example, board named after Cézanne or Pissarro, Gauguin, and so on. It was really impressive. Also, I would like to tell you about the collaboration when the museum becomes a place, something that provides an atmosphere and like space for the collaboration. The first example is the collaboration of the Pushkin Museum of Fine Arts and LG Signature. In the period of pandemic in the 2020, they created a project which was about digital direction of cultural national program. The main goal of this collaboration was to allow everyone, no matter where you live, on which part of Russian Federation, you know, that's a big country, you may just open the EV, online cinema, and like watch the collection of Pushkin Museum, see the millions of the artworks and masterpieces of paintings, like face to face, so to say. Also, the Pushkin State Museum was presented like a joint collection of souvenirs with Tegin Fashion House. At the part of this collaboration, designer Svetlana Tegin created a miniature dress toy called Ballerina Degas, which was, released in a limited edition and presented in museum stores. Also, they made a performance, like ballet performance, with the future ballerinas from the Moscow State Academy of Choreography. And it's not about the just beautiful stuff in the museum show, but it's also about the performing in the museum. Again, yes. The last example of the collaboration with the museum is the Pushkin State Museum and Moscow actors. In the picture, you can see Alexander Gudkov. He is a well-known TV presenter, blogger, and actor. Young generation loves his jokes and so on. And he, with his friends from actors from Moscow theater, some of them also cinema actors, they repeated the scenes from the laugh actually. They just walked through the museum and danced from the song Jump from a Laugh with the prime minister, maybe you remember, danced in his office. So they had the whole museum, and they really enjoy themselves there. And what's important is that young generation also came to the museum to maybe make some videos inside of the museum, near the museum, and it was like a flash mob after this video was posted on the YouTube. I would like to tell you about 7 reasons why collaboration is important. And according to Connie Mosley, collaborations, first of all, helps to solve the problem, brings people and organizations closer together, helps people learn from each other, opens new channels for communication, boosts morale across the organization, lead to higher retention rates, and makes us more efficient workers. I agree with all of these points, but I think the most important thing for collaboration with artists and museums is bring people together, first of all, and help to learn something new from each other and to find new channels for communication, because it's always about the audience. It's to open the borders and to find something new and something valuable for your audience, or maybe just a new audience for your artworks or your museum. For my opinion, the most important in collaboration is people. It's people who make this collaboration and people who just become a viewer of this collaboration or participates in this collaboration, buy something, or just visit the museum when it has some presentation and so on. Values, it's really, really important what value is mixed in your collaboration, because as for the example of Tretyakov Gallery collaboration with the Bordeaux, yes, the tea set, which is really expensive and original, it's like limited and so on, and it's fragile. It's about the classical art. It's fragile, it's expensive, it's really valuable, and so on. And as for the collaboration with Tvoyo, your art, it's about art for everyone. Everyone could afford to buy a T-shirt with the painting of Vaksnitsov, for example, or the painting of Ayvazovsky. And it's like you may come to a museum and be comfortable, and it's art for you. You can enjoy it. Also, I think the quality is really, really important, because, for example, if Tretyakov Gallery does something awful, not qualified and just in bad quality, I don't think that the audience would understand that, because the Tretyakov Gallery, for example, it's a mark of quality. It's like their collaboration, their face, and it's really, really important to be on the same level when you are the greatest, yes, well-known museum. You should make really great collaboration. Here is my contacts. The first one is Instagram, and the second is an email. Thank you very much for your attention. I would be happy to answer all of your questions. You may just put it in the chat or ask via the email. Also, I would like to tell you that there are some posts about the museums on my Instagram account, but they're in Russian. And if you would love to know something more, you just can contact me and I will translate it to you. Thank you very much for the attention and for organizing all of this beautiful event.
Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Alina. It was very beautiful presentation with, the introduction to the artist of Russia, as well as collaborative works. It was really amazing. Well, our next presenter is Ms. Sara Kariman from Iran. Are you ready, Ms. Sara?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Well, she is a research expert at the Sadabad Cultural and Historical Complex, and she is presenting on how museum becoming power today. Would you like to share your own screen, or would you like my help?
If you can help me, I would thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I want to respectfully thank to you and your cooperation, your colleagues who organized this event. I'm sure that would be very helpful. All my colleagues in Iran are very interested in those kind of events and follow them. And I hope that we can join to some other event in future. But about today, I want to talk about, please, previous slide. Yes. I want to talk about how museum becoming power. As you know, ICOM for this year's, 2022, choose the slogan about museum powers. And as my opinion, it has many aspects, and we need to analyze the meaning, the deep meaning of this slogan. Because of this, I want to mention that I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, and each week I write an article in one of newspaper in Iran, and in those articles I try to analyze different aspects of museum position as a sociologist, as philosopher.
Hello, Miss Sarah. Hello. Yes, please continue. We lost you for a while.
Because of this, I want to tell you that some aspect, the philosophy aspect of museum and practice of museum is very interesting for me. Today, I want to talk about how a museum becoming power. Please, and yes. For this topic, there is a layer under this topic, and is that we mentioned that we believe nowadays that museum has power. For this, we want to talk about what is power. When we talk about museum, the position of museum in a local area or international area, or the communication between society and museum, we feel that there is a huge power under the role of museum. First step, I want to mention the meaning of power. First, we see that the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way. It's the first meaning of power. And here we want to make a relationship between the role of museum and what power means. The second is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of other of the course of event. It is the exact what museum do and what's the vision of museum. So when we talk about power in different aspects, we feel that museum has it now. And as I opinion, it doesn't mean that we want something, we should do something to make more power for museum, because it has now. Please, next slide. On the other hand, we want to talk about the type of power, and then we make a relation between this kind of power and the position of museum, and find how museum can find the power and influence of other different fields. The first and one of the important power is economic power. As you know, nowadays the art economy and innovative economy is very notable, and there is a political about to how organize the event and how make the policy for cultural and artistic event to follow the goal of economic goal. The second type of power is political power. I will talk about it in next slide, that what is the relation between political power and museum. The second is cultural power, military power, hegemonic power, and smart power. About military power, as you know, museum couldn't have any effect, fortunately. And hegemonic is a concept, a sociological concept that make a connection between cultural concepts and how cultural concept affect on what people use and what people choose. And as you see directly to the movement of museum, you can see that museum as one of the most important cultural institute do this directly. And smart power. In this field, we can find and follow the effect of museum too. Please, next slide. And the next point is that when we want to talk about power, we must know the level of power. When we talk about power, it can be very small power. For example, sometimes there is a power that affects on a family or very small society. The next one is middle power, regional power, superpower, hegemon's powers, national power, and international. Let's see that when we talk about museum, we can talk to the which level of power. If think about deeply, see that a museum really can have effect in all level of power. And I believe that what we can do in future and what we can organize and follow for the future is that ordinary do something and organize something that all the level of power has some connection with museum action. And next one, please. Now we should see that how power act. I want to ask you, when I talk about power, please imagine the role and the position of museum. See that, imagine that power is on the top of some organization and wants to have some effect. It can do and act from three ways. The first is hard power, when we do and act some force or violence. It means that hard power. In this case, we can say that museum most of the time doesn't go in this way. As I opinion, I want be grateful if there is some exception, and let me know that when museum can use hard power. Is there any example for this kind of power? I don't find the example. And soft power, this place is the exact point of what museum do. A museum has some role of media, some role of broadcast and and cultural institute, and that's the process museum choose to transmit the value and the way choose to make communication with society. Museum, by having some valuable objects or valuable concepts, try to transmit this object, transmit this value, or for example, educational concept to audience and society. And smart power. The contemporary museum and new generation of museum also try to use this kind of power, but as in my opinion, it's not the exact field of influence of museum as a power. The most important region of a museum to have power is soft power. Next slide, please. Here, for being direct to the meaning of power and the relationship of power to a museum, I want to talk about some new version of power, because as you know, in recent years, all the meaning change. And the effect of cultural issues is more than some tools that we call them hard power. Third dimension of power, which is the ability to shape not only what is discussed, but what is desired. This sentence mentioned to some customized thought, and mention to the importance of cultural management, who decide to what the audience use and what the audience learn. In a museum, we can tell the audience what you want to know more. When we decide to establish a museum, we study the communication between the society and feel some need to have some new museum. That museum would be about art or something else. But the point is that when we decide what to do in museum, it means that we want to tell something to audience, and the point that is the power of museum. So the curator or management or some other above power, or for example government, decide what to do in cultural field. Yes, next slide. And let me talk about museum exactly. Well, the earliest museum, how can find their power? In my opinion, the first museum was the showcase for showing the power of having some valuable object, and the process passed up to now, and something changed about this concept. And the main point is that instinctively, museum is the institute of showing power, and the kind of the power, the form of the type of power changed during this time. Please, previous slide, I want to talk about a sentence. Museum collection include example of civilization highest achievement in visual culture. It's the origin point of about a museum, when the first collection collect about different people, and the earliest museum open to public. Next slide, please. Let me talk about how museum wants to showing power in the historical course of museum. I mean, during the time the classical museum and earliest museum open to public audience up to now. And in my opinion, the museum follow these ways. First, how rich the museum treasures of their relics of ancient civilization in the first sample of museum. Next, how many of the works belong to their own country? This part mentioned to the period of time that a national museum established in different countries. It refers to about 80 years ago. About 80 to 100 years ago, in many countries decided to open national countries and try to gather and collect some civilization achievement about their history or ancient time. And the next step is how successful museums are in displaying and preserving works. The next step is that how museum can show their power, to how they are successful to showing and presenting their works and art objects. The next step is how much museum produce knowledge and scientific content. And then how creative museum can be, and then how museum can how much can museum have a social impact? It is what happened in 21st century, and how museum can solve human issues. It is the issues that museum are face today, in my opinion. And the museum can have a competition nowadays to the last three steps, I think. And nowadays, it's not important how much you are successful in displaying and preserving. I mean, in a competition of museum. The important role and important effect of museum nowadays is that how museum can solve human issues. Please, next slide. Go back to the relation of museum powers and talk about how museum powers tools. I told that museum definitely has power, and this power, how can help to museum activity and which field? I told and talk about soft power, and I mentioned that we when we talk about soft power, we talk about media, we talk about broadcast, and something that has directly effect on the cultural thoughts of people. The next tools of museum power is creative economy. That nowadays make a very notable role in first country and first world country, and public diplomacy, which is very important in international communication of different country, between country and diplomatic relationship. Nowadays, museum play a very important role. And we have a very successful experience in our country For example, National Museum Iran has some mutual exhibition with Louvre or the other country in the world. As we experienced that, in addition to make a communication between the culture and ancient world, the people and the political concept of two countries get familiar to each other, and it makes a context for other relation between those countries, which is very notable for the government. Next slide, please. Here I want to talk about that museum can signal some certain values. It is very obvious that a museum obviously showing and signal the certain values. We open the museum to the public to showing and to displaying some values. First, by social impact. The second is educational and research based, because in addition to social impact of museum, we know that educational and research base of museum is one of the results that people trust to the museum and go to the museum. And artistic movement in many arts museum and contemporary center, we see that they make and do some artistic movement. The next impact is hegemonic impact. I talk about it, the effects of museum on the desire, on cultural desire of people, and the source of cultural behavior. A museum has this power to make some source and for cultural behavior and make some sample for other institute. Next slide, please. At the end, I want to mention this key sentence. Museum likewise employ classic method of public diplomacy, transmitting message in way that allow recipients to arrive at their own conclusion. As you see, museum has this power to make a way from first step up to conclusion and transmit a message, which has a different aspect. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for your attention. Again, I'm really happy for let me to participate in this meeting, and I'm ready for all the colleagues and participants to answer the question or discuss about the concept. I put my phone number that I'm accessible in different social app, and my email too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sarah. Well, it was a very beautiful insight regarding the museum and the power, how it actually works. It's really nice. All right.
Thank you. Welcome.
Now our last but not the least presenter. She is from Mongolia, Ms. Ugantuya Ngalbatrak. So she is a curator at the National Museum of Mongolia, and she is presenting on museums and education in Mongolia. Ms. Ugantuya, are you ready? Ms. Ugantuya?
Hello.
Yes.
Ah,
Please turn your
just-
camera on.
Camera on. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Should I share the screen or would you like to share your own presentation?
Could you please? Am I looking beautiful?
Of course, of course. Can you see the screen?
I am. Yes. Could you first slide, please? It is. It is not
Yes.
first slide.
Sorry for that. My mistake. All right. Can you see the full screen?
Yes. So this building is our museum building, National Museum of Mongolia. During the last 10 years, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. In the last 10 years, I worked as an educator. Can you hear me?
Yes. Please continue.
Okay. Next slide, please. I have prepared to talk about the museums and education of Mongolia. Mongolia Museum educational programs I have to try. And first of all, I would like to talk and describe or tell our Mongolia. And this is, you can see, this is the world. There is a green, it is our Mongolia. The Mongol nation or state Mongolia is a landlocked country in East Asia, bordered by Russia to the north and China to the south. Just two countries we have bordered. It covers an area of 1,564 million square kilometers away. Too big, I think. So just the two big countries bordering us. With population of 3.3 million, making it the world's most sparsely populated sovereign nation. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please continue.
Okay. Mongolia is the world's largest landlocked country that does not border close to the sea. And much of its area is covered by grassy steppe and mountains to the northwest and the Gobi Desert to the south. It is. And Ulaanbaatar is the capital city and the largest city is home to roughly half of the country population. Now you can know the Mongolia. So our museum, National Museum of Mongolia, is the first museum of Mongolia. The origin of the National Museum of Mongolia date back to 1924. The first collections were begun for a national museum. The present building of the museum was built in 1971. It was erected as the Museum of Revolution. Since April of 2008, the museum has been renamed as the National Museum of Mongolia. So the National Museum of Mongolia is the nation's largest museum and holds a collection of over 60,000 objects relating to the Central Asian history and the history of Mongolia from the prehistory to the 20th century, with a portion of the collected artifacts on display in 9 exhibition halls. Okay, Mongolian museums in Mongolia, there are state museums 38 and provincial museum 270. Also in Ulaanbaatar, capital city, there is a National Museum of Mongolia, which display history and traditional custom and culture also. And Natural History Museum shows or display geographical animals or insects, like etc. And the Military Museum is also, you have known, National Art Gallery, Baghtan Palace Museum, Choja Lama Temple Museum, Fine Art Museum, Ulaanbaatar City Museum, Genghis Khan Museum, and other organization museums are. So in this, okay, Just a moment. This is the convention. So for museum educators, we should to know the convention and law. And the main conventions I have written down here. And first of all, we should know about the firstly signed or read. It is the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, protection and promotion of diversity of the cultural expressions, and also we're very necessary to know that the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage. So these three main conventions we should know, and also we should know the Mongolian laws. First of all, the Constitution of Mongolia. We need to know the law on education, law for protection cultural heritage, and the very young law is the museum. Law on museum, which erected in 2021. The next slide is. So the Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2003 is on the chapter 4. There is a and the conventions and raising awareness about intangible cultural heritage and use of the emblem of convention for the safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage. Why this chapter 4 is including on the 109, it is started that research institutes, centers of expertise, museums, archives, libraries, documentation centers, and similar entities play an important role in collecting, documenting, archiving, and conserving data on intangible cultural heritage, as well as in providing information and raising awareness about its importance. In order to enhance their awareness raising function about intangible cultural heritage, we should know that because of the intangible cultural heritage, we should know, we should document, we should give information generation by generation to generation. So because of this, the museum is, there is a museum is a word. And next slide is, also national programs of Mongolia, which national programs approved by the Mongolian government. So because we need to know about all of these, we have attention for them. And national programs of Mongolia, cultural education for all, national program of Mongolian script, national program of stone cultural heritage, protection of intangible cultural heritage, and development of Mongolian studies. And I am mentioning these programs because the programs developed at the museums should connect to the and benefit from that. And next slide is, I want to show you that Mongolian Museum education program types, targeted groups, and program topics, and different the way Mongolian Museum educators are trying to. And these are the three main types of education programs we organize and develop. Also, outreach program, maybe you know, can be organized at the school and other organizations. And we museum educators will travel to these places with traditional games and toys, such as ankle bones. And the ankle bone of each side of the represents different livestock animals. Maybe you know the 5 main livestock is our main animals, the nomadic lives, and there are many kinds of games played with them. We also bring a traditional Mongolian dwelling called the ger and teach to urban children who often do not live in a traditional Mongolian gers.
they don't know how to assemble and the symbolism associated with the different parts. Then maybe you know the traditional Mongolian dwelling. Some of you, maybe you know. Okay? And the museum nation program is what we do in the museum programs is probably similar to the other museums. Our museum programs include workshop, hands-on education programs, and live interaction with the museum staffs and exhibits. Also, digital type of digital education programs are nowadays widely developed all over the world. And there are through the use of social media platforms, websites, content, and so on, etc. There is a need at the museum to know and learn new technology and to convert to digital platforms. And this is something every museum in Mongolia is trying to implement. For example, various videos, photographs of museum objects with information and description are posted on their official Facebook pages. So also these programs are engaging to the museum's audiences, and some of them are asking about new online exhibitions. So, program of topics. Also target group, as you also probably know, are categorized into age groups, special needs, family, and tourists, students, etc. Also, education programs for children focus on using simple, understandable language, and at times we may act out demonstration for the kids. For those with special needs, we must work by being sensitive in our conduct and paying attention to any necessary requirements. Our museum organizes program for the visually and hearing impaired program, and we provide educational materials written in Braille for the visual impaired, and they are also allowed to use special gloves to touch copies of certain museum objects. And we will show you that the visually impaired people education program, maybe next slide I will show to you. And sign language videos for the hearing impaired are provided at the Military Museum of Mongolia. So, and the families. In 2004, the museum began offering a new kind of service specifically designed for the families, and families consisting of 2 to 5 members were given the chance to visit the museum for only 1 ticket. It's very happy to families to buy a 1 ticket, and all members can visit to the museum. Is very happy they are. Additionally, the museum organized a special program for the children of the families, and ranging from the age of 3 to 14, giving them the chance to take part in the game session at the children's game room. And family members spending time together is so necessary nowadays, because the parents are always working all day, and after their work time, they already tired. So with the children, they don't spending time with the children is they have not enough time. So family days we organize just the weekends. And nowadays, many families visiting to our museum want to visit, and yes, and to do spending time to do something together is so nice memory for them. Especially children always remember it. Unforgettable time we spend at the museum. The feeling love, feeling care, and keeping worksheets, memorable pictures, and also knowledge. Yes. And next slide, please. New marketing activities in the cultural sectors nowadays, and from the 2021, it was started, and Minister of Culture issued an order instructing state-owned and local museums to offer free entrance to children under the age of 16. It is starting from this 1st of September in 2020 to encourage national pride in the younger generation, promote knowledge of traditional culture and customs, and enhance the role of institution in children's education. It is very nice thing. And children under the 16 are therefore allowed to visit permanent and temporary exhibition halls of the museum free of charge. And also, family ticket, student ticket, couples ticket, and adult tickets, and discount for some audiences we service. Next slide, please. So I have tried to show you that some of the museum educational program names, but I want to tell you all of them, but not enough time. So I decided to the very famous programs I have tried to show you. This is the National Museum of Mongolia, Mongolian History. Alive is the main educational program, which is developed in 2002. And this program is an education program designed for secondary school children in class of 8 to 9. And in the museum history lessons were taught according to the specific time periods. And the education program consists of 11 topics with 4 evaluation sessions at the museum. The teachers can use this resource kit either before or after they are visited the museum. They need to plan the lessons beforehand in relation to the topic they are teaching, and should know that they will be holding evaluation session later at the museum. This will be done according to the schedule provided below, and they should also make use of worksheets, replicas, and clothing they have been provided for the lessons. Also, before coming to the museum, teachers should book a guided tour. Lesson will be 90 minutes long, and 60 minutes are to be used for touring the museum and learning about different artifacts and studying them. The remaining 30 minutes should be spent doing different activities organized by the museum, or taking and discussing about the tasks and children did at home or at school. Also, little archaeologists, and for our museum, National Museum of Mongolia, there are many archaeological artifacts displayed. Also, the Natural History Museum is a little paleontologist, and Fine Arts Museum, little artists. So our museum, little archaeologist program is given information to the children what to do archaeologists, how do they dig artifacts, and kids dig a copy artifacts from the sand with gloves and small shovels, and little brush, same as archaeologists, and discover artifacts, and then they measure how measurement is there, and take a photo and register, like archaeologists, like museum workers. What do they do, archaeologists and museum workers? They have feeling. And I have seen many little archaeologists felt full of feelings. Now they have known who is an archaeologist. And the next slide, please. So this is the study in the museum training for museum educators and teachers. In 2019, the Ministry of Education, Culture and Science, the Culture and Arts Authority Implementing Agency of Mongolian government, and also the UNESCO of Beijing and our museum organized this training for museum educators and school teachers. And because the teacher can act as a bridge to establish a relation between museum and children, and also select high school teachers and museum educators met with each other together and share their experiences on how to museums in their lessons for the students. This program mainly focused on the integrating different school subjects such as history, art, geography, also Mongolian and English language in order to better connect to them museum education programs. And nowadays, some of Mongolian children cannot speak Mongolian. They also want to speak English. Why they are? I don't know sometimes. They visited to the museum, but they want the guide to speak English. So that's why I'm telling them. Integration is nowadays very interesting thing, and trying to Mongolian museum educators trying to integrate to make a program integration. Also, the selection of process for teachers is a vital process that should be given special consideration. Such a key person should be highly motivated, have the desire to work in teams and networks, be willing to spend their time and energy with their students, and genuinely love children and his or her job as an educator. It would be beneficial to further facilitate the development of educational skills of museum staff, museum educators, and also selected school educators. So. And next slide, please. So this is one of our famous education programs. So Golden Soyum, it looks like this red, blue, red one is our national flag. In front of them, and the yellow one is, it looks like a very regularly or simple geometrical shapes, but it is not it has a very deep meaning. At the first of class, yes, but not it has deep meaning. It includes all of Mongolia. Can you see on the top flames are three. These three flaming, its meaning past, present, future time. Mongolia will be eternally flaming like a pure flame. And circle one is the sun, and half circle is the moon. The sun and moon over the Mongolia eternally are shining, moonlighting. And four rectangles are the borders of Mongolia, protection of four parts for Mongolia. And triangles are, two triangles are there, and so arrowheads, its meaning, it's showing arrowheads, protection from the domestic and foreign enemy. And the middle, maybe you know, it looks like yin and yang, and famous all over the world. It is meaning Mongolian family, female and male, and father and mother. And this meaning, I'm telling you very proudly, now you know the meaning of the Mongolian national flag. So this program can be held for all age of people, even for the tourists. And preschool children can color it if they cannot sizer it. You can see the sizered ones. And the other sizer and glue it, others, and also adults are very happy to use the sizer and glue in, very happy. Now they are no, adults even don't know very detailed information of this Soyum inscription also. So one of the famous, our museum education program it is. So, and next slide, please. So on these pictures, this slide are school and museum. And it is important for museum to cooperate with schools, and it is the duty of museum workers to establish connections with schools and teachers. Since 2002, National Museum Mongolia have been contracted with schools. On this picture, school students participating museum education program at the school, at the museum education room, and with this school, whole school year, I have worked there. Me and another educator worked there during the school year. It can continue during the 9 months we have together. Also, we teach them traditional Mongolian game, the history, and all education program of our museum. I have tried to teach them, and museum education programs. These museum education programs contract with this school. The closing ceremony held on the museum day of 2018. Have you ever seen like that? Behind of there in the Mammoth, there is a museum day 18, you can see. So that day we display exhibition, gallery by paintings by children, Stone Age of man-hunting, mammoth play, and children did the traditional game by their own hand. It is the long work it was. So, and next slide, please. So it is the one of the very young very young program it is. It is the one of the intangible cultural heritage. So with the support from the Mongolian government, the Ministry of Culture successfully organized Arts and Culture and Kritoman campaign last November. And the National Museum of Mongolia, in the framework of this event, created a new educational program and new branded methods. We named it the Wise Boys Museum Tour. The Wise Boy is one of the characters in traditional Mongolian fairy tales. We created a new character design of the Wise Boy and his girlfriend. We also organized the opening ceremony event for this program. Next slide, please. So this is this slide showing to you the opening ceremony of the Wise Boys Museum Tour. So you can see those children sitting on the desk. In front of them are worksheets. The children can color and and the middle of these, there are children playing, role playing. Where am I going to the program? This program firstly designed for Mongolian main ethnic group called Halakh. Firstly, kids have guided tour through the traditional Mongolian clothing and jewelry. It is the hall, and museum guide described them, especially Halakh clothing and jewelry. And then kids enter to the educational room and take on worksheets. Talk about traditional clothing, what difference between there. Kids can color and dress up sheets with the stickers. There. So next slide, please. This is on this slide, I want to show you that the Wise Boys Museum Tour and on the opening ceremony, but not possible to listen for this program. Children Palace of Mongolian students sing a song and did play, but they're very sorry to listen. And now we have for this program, now we have nice worksheets, anthem and play. And another thing, and could you, next slide, please? So as you know, now we have worksheets and anthem and play. And another thing I should tell you proudly, these are brand products. As you see on this picture, these are just the few of them. As you see, the new image of with the image of stationery holders, coaster for cups, wise boy and girlfriend moving toy. It is. And wise boy of Museum 2 will be continuing. And next step is we are trying to make and develop in other traditional Mongolian ethnic group, Buryat. Maybe you have known, maybe you have heard Buryat ethnic groups. And this will be continuing museum tour of Wise Boy. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ugantia. So with this, we have completed all the presentations that were here today. Now we are almost at the end of the session, and we will be taking some questions from our attendees. So first, let me take a question from Shivani Banerjee for Ms. Samra. So she has asked, what is your psychology behind your painting when you paint various elements of nature and human? Ms. Samra? I've sent you the question in your chat box. You can also check question in your chat box. So if anybody has any question, please raise your hand so that we can see you. Let me check some questions, but it seems like we don't have any questions in the chat box. Yes, we are calling our attendees for any question. If you have any question for our attendees, please, you are welcome.
Otherwise, we can have the answer of Samra.
Yes.
Samra is there, yeah. You see, speakers are so perfect that there is no question coming up from participants.
Well, as the session is almost at the end, I request our attendees to put their cameras on so that our presenters can also see you.
So it would, we definitely would like to have remarks of our honorable guest, that's Rima.
All right. Miss Rima, are you there? Well, it's my personal view, but today's all four presentation were, very complementing to each other. The first two presentation, the presentation by Ms. Samra about the journey of an artist. And then the next presentation by Ms. Alina, about the artist and the collaboration with different institutions. It seems like really complementing each other. And the next, the other presentation that is by Ms. Sara about the museum becoming the power. And also like the presentation by Ms. Ugantia about like how the educational program is being conducted in Mongolia. These two topics were vastly different, but then also like they were actually complementing each other in a way. And well, all the presentations are very beautiful and very knowledgeable. So, well, we are still waiting for our attendees. If you have any question, please raise your hand and we will allow you to ask your question to our presenters. Ms. Samra, are you ready with your answer? Wow, it's a complete silence. Seems like all the presentations were, like very good.
These are very informative presentations and very fruitful for us for in the future as a knowledge sharing. And we connect with the others, with other parties, speakers as well. And wonderful, Alina, presentation is so informative and very understanding to collaboration with other museum is so amazing work you did, Alina. And as an artist, I'm very much curious about it, how you connect with the other museum and how you connect with the, as in collaborate with the exhibition is more challenging, is more more challenging and more anything you want to share with us, with me.
Well, just to be clear, it was not all my work, these collaborations. I mean, it was like cases which were held in Russia, and it was like the favorite one, just to find out, to study and so on. It wasn't my work to collaborate with artists in this presentation, but I can give you some more examples if you need. You can contact me by the email I posted into the chat, and I will send you some more details. Just let me know what you're interested in exactly, okay?
That is great also, but Alina, we want to see you in our informal talk show, you see, where you can freely talk with a cup, having a cup of coffee and chatting with these all participants. So they will know more about you and your work, and then definitely we have seen the Russian designers and artists work today, and how they are doing in a commercial market, you see. So that is very nice, but definitely we will have another session, an informal talk show with you, okay?
Thank you very much. I would love to.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Alina. Well, Samra, would you like me to repeat the question again? There is a question for you from Shivani. She is asking, what is the psychology behind your painting when you paint various elements of nature and human? Sorry, Samra, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Shivani, first of all, I would love to say thank you so much, all of you, to listen to me. And I wanna just tell you, nature is a big teacher for an artist. And I love to paint nature, and nature's my work only inspired by nature. So I would love to say, like, I am a student of nature. So nature always inspired me. And basically, when I did scuba diving and I visit the sea and the flora of the sea, it's shown very colorful, and corals are very colorful, marine. So it's totally like I would love to paint them, and I would love it's some corals are poisoned, and they have tentacles, and when you touch the corals, some poisons are dangerous for us, and some corals are used in our medicine and in our cosmetics. And these are properties of the coral. So I really inspired its shapes and its colors, and basically they are a living community, and they make the reefs in the sea. You know, sometimes we see many ships, they did many shipwrecking like that, and they make the reefs in the floor of sea. And basically when the corals are alive, it seems colorful, and it attracts the fishes. And when the fish came to close the coral, and they poisoned with their tentacles to the fish, and they eat the fishes. So coral marines are a living creature in the sea, and it makes so beautiful the flora of the sea. It's really inspired me, and the properties of the same to my subject matter. And I used to paint with the human figure, and to create its texture. And I found the real coral dead skeleton, and these are all calcium carbonate, like our bones, and I studied them. It's like microscopic study, and then after that I use it in my work. Got my point?
Shivani?
Definitely, definitely. I got it. Thank you, Samra, for this beautiful answer. And you says always right. The nature is a very big teacher. So that thank you so much. Thank you so much. So sweet of you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Samra, and thank you very much, Ms. Shivani, for asking the question. Well, Ms. Shivani is from India. She is a museologist, and well, thank you once again for the question. Well, let me ask again.
Thank you, Meena.
Let me ask again to all our attendees, do you have any question to our presenter?
And right now is not any question, but I ask any to every I say to every participant as a speaker, it's a wonderful presentation. They share us with us. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with you, Ms. Sozma. Thank you very much for this.
Yes, I also agree. And first of all, I would like to say that Azma, today is your birthday. Happy birthday, dear.
Happy birthday, Uzma.
Right.
And this is a very beautiful meet. Thank you for Javed Akhtar sir. And my laptop is some sounds are very disturbing.
Today is a formal session.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not
sir.
an informal session.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
we have to give importance to our speakers.
Yes, sir.
Notes. They have educated us, and they have given so much information to us through their presentation. So that's commendable. You see, so definitely. Since Rima is not there, and Shri Malakova is also not there, so definitely I took a chance to say something about the presentations, and if Meena allows me to do that.
Please, sir.
Okay. So I think the Rima has given the first presentation from Rima, you see. So she has told us about her museum and this carpet museum, Azerbaijan. Definitely that is so many participants from us, they haven't been to Azerbaijan to see that museum, and also it was a good sharing from there. But definitely we would, in future, we would love to have some scientific paper like conservation of carpets and the weaving methods, different weaving methods of carpets in present day. So those will be also very informative. We will arrange someday. In fact, we will arrange that. So, but overall, that was a very interesting presentation, and I think the presenter was presenter is a very good speaker. I said this Rima. She is associated with ICOM, and she international committees also, and the national committee also, and she is used to give presentations in different sectors. So about definitely about the carpet and other business, museum business. So I'm thankful to Shirin Malakova that she has thought that Rima should be at her place. So she is very kind of deciding that thing. So and also thankful to Rima for the beautiful presentation. And then our Samra is definitely our permanent member of this ICOM family forum. And she is an excellent artist, and definitely she is using the techniques, the hand paintings, using a technique of hand painting, and the topic she relates the nature coral reef. That's coral reef is really a beautiful thing, and somewhere they are so beautiful that even if you are traveling on a boat, so you can see that colorful fishes moving around the reef. You see, so that's a very decorative life from our nature. We are blessed with that beautiful life. And then she merged it with the human body, and that is also a nature. In fact, human body is also a nature. So she expressed many activities of the humans through these coral reef textures and colors, you see. So that was excellent to listen her and hear her and see her presentation. So thank you, Samra, for a great presentation. Then our special guest, that's Alina from Russia. You see, she is our first speaker. Why I am saying special guest, she is our first speaker from Russia, you see. So otherwise, she knows, and you also, Rima, knows that there was a girl, Olga Cheshnova. So she disappointed a little bit, disappointed in a way that she couldn't make it. So, and we have to replace with other speakers. So, but definitely she has some business to do, or she was sick, something like that. I don't know, but when she will be fit, we will call her in our program and definitely listen to her, because she was going to tell us about that Siberia is, yes, her hometown. So she was about to tell us the culture of that hometown. The topic was that. So that was definitely we will arrange it in future too. But Alina took the lead, and she given us a so comprehensive presentation on present day art in Russia, and the sources of displaying the art in Russia. You see, of course, that if you see in a supermarket, some art you see in a supermarket, and somewhere you see in a museum gallery, or some art you see in a these art galleries, open art galleries, and art schools. So this is this was the research which I believe that she has given us so much. She must have given us so quite a time to prepare this presentation, because doing this need a lot of research. You see, you cannot just put up pictures and then say that this is the presentation and so. So definitely it was excellent, and we definitely came to know that how, which direction art is going in Russia. So that was very educative for us. And thank you very much, Alina, for this kindness. And as I said earlier, that we will definitely invite you for informal talk show too. So we will learn, we would love to learn more. And then our friend from Iran, wow, what a topic she has chosen. Museum power. So wherever you go, so if you are attracted to the museum and visit of museums, you think this is the research of Sara Karwani. You see, that's why we are attracted to that. So she might not be here because she is she is very busy woman, in fact. So she did an excellent to give us a new direction. We're thinking about planning during the planning and designing of museums, you see. So we definitely, we will see and we will remember what the hot power should be in the museum. So whether we should put some hot objects on a display, or put some you say what's that's a converter type air conditioner, so that gallery should be very hot and people feel so see that way. But that definitely that is learning. You see, this is the excellent sharing she has given us today, and she has changed our mind, and we will do a little bit of thinking to think diversified to way about the museums designing and planning. So I congratulate her. She is not here, but she must be watching this recorded video, and she will listen to my voice, and I'm thankful to her for that. And definitely these all today's speakers are so perfect that I wish that the next time I will take them to give them a jump from a youth conference to a regular conference of senior people, you see. So their research is not less than that to be taken to that sector. So we will definitely we will be having a group 7 and group 8. So group 7 is complete, but group 8 is open for speakers. So we will, as I talk to you, Meena, you have to suggest me the speakers from youth. So I'm waiting for that, so that we can allocate them the session in group 8. So they will be so go beforehand. It is in May, but I think this is 2 months are no time. You see? So we must give them a signal so that they should start their preparing their topics and presentation.
Sure.
Right. So on last, my loveliest friend Oda, I'm sorry if I could not pronounce your name correctly, but definitely we want that you should understand that we are calling you. So this Uda, you have a wonderful presentation on museums education programs, and so few things I have learned from you. But I have been a Director General of museum, Natural History Museum, but I didn't practice that. But you have given me a new you say guideline to communicate to my museum colleagues that they can improve their education program on this way. So it was so very, it was excellent, definitely. And the film was so good. If it would have been carrying a sound, then it would have been a more meaningful for us. But you are already pinpoint formal education program. You have already pinpoint for informal education program, informal talk show. So this, let's see. So you may remember or not, but you said that we will definitely again tickle you and invite you on that program so that we can know a little bit more about the education plans and all these things. Okay.
The little paleontologist? Little paleontologist, are you asking? Little paleontologist, little paleontologist. It is, are you? I have heard that.
No, I'm not paleontologist. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Are you asking about the education program of the Natural History Museum, Little Paleontologist?
No, I'm asking you to come again into the program, not in a formal conference. This is a formal conference. In an informal.
Okay, now I see. Okay, now I see.
So I'm inviting you for that. So you will, Meena Lama will contact you. Meena Lama, so you must write it somewhere, the name of Alina and this there. Okay, you said we can definitely we must contact them in future. Okay, so get the dates, their convenience date and time. So this is Uday, you have done excellent today, and congratulations to all speakers. And I'm so thankful and I'm so obliged that you people have graced this event, this conference. And you see, you are the youth. You are more important than us. You see, because you have the future of our world is in your hand. So we want to listen you, and we want to share with you people, and want to transfer what we have to you and hand over each and everything and go to heaven. Okay, so this is just so important you people are for us, you see. So thank you very much indeed, and over to Meena for.
All right, thank you, Javed sir. Well, we are at the end of session, and also like on behalf of ICOM Azerbaijan and ICOM Family Forum, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our honorable session leader and keynote speaker, Dr. Serin Velikova, Ms. Rima Jenalova, our presenters, Ms. Samra Chima, Ms. Alina, sorry if I pronounce her name incorrectly, Sesnovaskia, Ms. Sarah Kariman, and Ms. Ugantuya Galbadrak. Right. So also I have to sincerely thank to our attendees. Well, because we were so busy with the presentation, I could not list all the names of our attendees, but the ones who are here, that is Ms. Buma from Mongolia, and Dr. Dhan Kumar from Nepal, Mr. Aditya Banerjee from India, and Ms. Shivani Banerjee from India. So thank you very much for attending in today's session. Thank you very much. With these closing remarks, it's me, Mina Lama, signing off, and wish you all good day and good evening. Goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.